Good Monday morning, everybody. Good Victory Monday morning. It feels good to be back in the winner's circle once again. We're not going to have a whole lot of time to enjoy it. We've got a quick turnaround for our Thursday night game, but we're going to take some time to enjoy it all the same. And we're also going to take some time to analyze it a little bit. Did we do things better in that game? What was the process like? We know the result was good. We know we won 28-21. But just because the results are good doesn't always mean the process was better. And in talking about this game and what we did differently from weeks 2 and 3, where we lost, I think the discussion has to begin with one particular player, and that is Sidney Jones, cornerback. He was making his first ever Seahawks start. I think his first ever snaps as a Seahawk, actually. So it seems very crucial that you spend some time talking about what he's doing. And a lot of people were pretty effusive of their praise in this game for Sidney Jones in the post-game chat. I got some comments that said that he looked better than Flowers, and at first glance, he did. I don't think he played amazing, but you wouldn't expect that for a guy making his first ever start for a team. So I decided that my first act this week after that Niners game would be to take a look at the plays in which Sidney Jones was involved in as a coverage player. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some screenshots from the game on Sunday, and we're going to keep it specifically to coverage plays that Sidney Jones was involved in. And I ended up looking at 12 plays in total. We're going to take a look at a total of 23 still images in this video, I think. And that means we've got quite a bit to get through, so we'll jump into it in a moment here. Real quick, I will not be addressing the busted coverage 76-yard touchdown to Debo. That was a blown assignment by Sidney Jones, it would seem. But there's really nothing to talk about there other than that he thought they were playing man when they were playing zone. So nothing to talk about. I'm not going to get into it. Let's take a look at some of these plays. Okay, so this is the first play I found where Sidney Jones was involved in coverage. It's about 3.5 minutes into the first quarter, and this is the point of the play where the ball gets released. So you have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball up here, and you have the eventual receiver of this pass right here. Sidney Jones is up here. He's not really defending this guy. He's in the area. He's initially guarding against this receiver who just basically runs a go route. But he ends up getting involved in the play because it happens right in front of him. So if you jump forward to our next still here, you can see the Niners receiver making the catch right near the first down marker. And Sidney Jones is maybe 1 or 2 yards away from the play. So that's the first thing I noticed looking at this still image. He gives up the completion, he gives up the first down, but at least he's involved in the play. At least he's not 8 yards away. At least he's around. And it seems like he did his job. You had a receiver over here running a go route. He had to initially concern himself with defending that guy. Okay, so that's play number 1. Let's jump over to play number 2. And this is another still of the ball getting released. You can see Garoppolo throwing it here. The receiver that he is going to target is right here, and Sidney Jones is up here. So, again, Sidney Jones doesn't really have coverage on this guy. He's more concerned with the receiver up at top. But nevertheless, he is in the area, so I wanted to capture this. So this throw turns into this completion right here. You can see that Sidney Jones is a little more upfield and out of the play here. And the receiver is, relatively speaking, wide open. He's open by at least 4 yards from the nearest defender. You've got 3 defenders in the area. I think this is Bobby. I know these images are blurry, by the way. We do the best we can with the limited technology that we have around here. As Mark Holmes would say, broke-ass media. But you can see that Sidney Jones wasn't really in coverage on the play, so we're not going to dock him or anything for that, but he's in the area. Okay, this is the final play against Sidney Jones on this first drive. So all 3 of these plays were on the first drive. This image is taken at the first possible moment where the eventual receiver, the Niners backup tight end, and Sidney Jones are actually in frame. So you can actually see that the ball's in flight up here. I don't know if you can see the ball very well, but it's right here. And Sidney Jones is right on his hip. Sidney Jones has good coverage, and the ball isn't even close to reaching its target. Now, on this play, he does give up the touchdown because he gets boxed out. The throw actually looks like it might be underthrown a little bit, which the tight end manages to make work for him by just using his frame to not let Sidney Jones get to the ball. Sidney Jones isn't able to stop fast enough to get around the tight end, and the tight end brings in the ball for a touchdown. So on the first drive of the game for the Niners, they went it in Sidney Jones's coverage area at least 3 times. The first 2 not really at his man, but in his area. Okay, so a little later in the game, later in the first quarter, this is play number 4. Here we have a play where, once again, Sidney Jones is not really in coverage against this individual receiver, but he's involved in the play, so I wanted to capture it. Garoppolo's about to throw it here. You can see that the pocket's starting to break down a little bit around him. And you've got the receiver coming across the middle. You can see how open he is. Bobby probably needs to get a little bit deeper here, if any. But if you're going to criticize anybody for what they're doing on this particular play, maybe you would say Bobby needs to get a little deeper. And Sidney Jones is over here concerned with this receiver on the right side of the field. And he is the closest defender when the catch is made. He's, I don't know, probably still a good 5 yards away from the receiver at the point of catch. This is right when the catch is made. So, okay. Again, I don't think this is on Sidney Jones. He has to be concerned about defending. I think this is Debo. So, yeah, nothing too bad yet. But they are going at Sidney Jones in general, it seems like. So this one looks like it is on Sidney Jones. And this is the earliest picture I could take with Sidney Jones in the frame. The ball is here, so it's already almost on the receiver, past the first down marker. This is a 1st and 10. And Sidney Jones is a good 2 to 3 yards away from the receiver. And this does actually seem to be his coverage. This seems to be his assignment. So the Niners receiver is definitely getting open on him. I don't think there's any argument to be made against that. And this image taken just a split second later shows that at the very least, Sidney Jones got close to the receiver when the catch was made. You can actually see 3 Seahawks defenders closing in on the receiver here, but he does allow a completion, and I do think it is his man on this play. This next play only really has one image because there's only one image worth showing. This is from near the end of the first quarter where a receiver just kind of runs a drag route across the field, gets open on Sidney Jones, and Garoppolo finds him. This is the point of the catch. You can see that it's about 17 yards down the field, and the receiver's open by a couple yards. So just a standard play where a receiver beats a cornerback. Not anything too surprising, but this is certainly Sidney Jones's assignment on this play, and he does get beat. So I believe those 6 plays, we just went through 6 plays, that was basically your first quarter for Sidney Jones. So he was targeted in coverage 3 times, and they went in his general vicinity another 3 times. So the Niners looked at Sidney Jones, and it seems like before this game started went, that's a guy we need to pick on in coverage. And early on, it was working out really well for them. Okay, now we're into the second quarter. This is play number 7. Now, this one's a little different. This is just a screenplay. I just want to go ahead and capture it because I'm trying to capture as much Sidney Jones content as I can here to show you guys how he played. You can see that this is a screenplay on 3rd and 15 to, I believe, Kittle. And he catches the ball 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Sidney Jones is the closest defender. He is about 8 yards away. And you can see that there's a convoy of blockers. So, right. Okay, so basically he gets blocked out of the play, but he does aggressively go after Kittle, which is good. You want to take blockers out of the play and allow other players to make the play later on. And Kittle would indeed get tackled after an 8-yard pickup that would result in a missed field goal. So I don't have an issue with him giving up a completion here. He didn't really give up a completion here, but he seemed to play the screen fairly well. Okay, next, this is a little later in the second quarter, and this was one of the plays that I saw live that kind of made me feel like things were not changing that much. 3rd and 10, Niners deep in their own territory, and Garoppolo finds Debo, and this is the point of the ball being released. And you can see the giant cushion here. You can see how far Sidney Jones is playing off. You can see how much room Debo has. Right now, as of this picture, this is about a 5-yard cushion at the point of the ball being released. And if you jump forward to the point of the ball being caught, you can see that the gap is maybe 2 or 3 yards. And Debo is moving up the field. He ends up getting a first down on this play. This is 3rd and 10, and you give up the first down, and you do so by playing off. So this was one of the plays I saw live that kind of made me think, well, not much is changing. And to this point, I don't think very much had changed. However, we're going to continue on to play number 9 here. This was later in that very same second quarter. And this is an interesting play. 3rd and 5. Garoppolo is back to pass, and he immediately sees the man that Sidney Jones is covering. You can see that he's open by a couple of yards across the middle, right near the marker for what would be a first down. Garoppolo is winding up to hit him. There is another defender in the area. I believe this is Marquise Blair. But it looks like there's a window for Garoppolo to fit this ball into to pick up this first down. So it looks like this is going to be another completion on Sidney Jones for another first down. Luckily, it doesn't happen because the ball gets batted. And if you take a look here, it's blurry because the movement is so significant here. But you can see that the ball is right here, about to hit the turf. It actually almost was an interception if Sidney Jones had managed to get his hands out a little quicker. But the ball ends up going behind the play because it gets batted at the line of scrimmage. So honestly, I think this probably would have been a completion and a first down, if not for the bat. But hey, I'll take the breaks where I can get them. Okay, play number 10 is up next, and this is in the third quarter. So it did seem like, and some of this was probably because Trey Lance came into the game, but as the game went on, Sidney Jones did not get picked on as much. So here's a 3rd down and 4, where you've got Trey Lance in the game, and he's releasing the ball. He's got Debo past the marker, and Debo is open by probably 3 or 4 yards on Sidney Jones. You can see Sidney Jones right behind my head, and then Debo's right here. So if this is an accurate pass, this is probably a first down. However, it is the opposite of an accurate pass. And let's go ahead and jump forward to the point of the ball passing by the play. It's hard to make out, but the ball is actually closer to Sidney Jones than Debo. It just kind of rockets off this way, incomplete. Niners are punting. Now, if you go back to the previous image real quick, just for to look at this one more time, it's possible that Amadi would have been able to get involved in the play as well. It's close. It's hard to tell. It kind of depends on if Trey Lance is able to fit it into a tight window. But I don't know. I'm seeing the same giant cushion between cornerback and receiver. Okay, this is play number 11, and this is another screenplay. So I just want to, again, I'm trying to capture as much Sidney Jones content as I can here. So we're going to take a look at this play, even though it's not his assignment. So Sidney Jones has coverage on the receiver up here. I think this is Debo. And Juszczyk catches it in the flat. And Ryan Neal is kind of moving out this way in order to cover Juszczyk nominally. But at the point of reception, Sidney Jones is the closest cover man. And not a whole lot to say here. It's just a screen pass. It's going to get completed because it's behind the line of scrimmage. And Sidney Jones ends up making the stop a little past the 30, I think. So not a whole lot to go on there, but another play that was in the general area of Sidney Jones. You can see that at the point of the catch, he's over here. So he's moving to go make a play on the ball carrier, but he's not going to until Juszczyk actually gets kind of close to a first down. Final play, and this one comes with less than 3 minutes in the game, 2nd and 20. You can see the ball in the air here. You can see the open receiver. Sidney Jones, to his credit, is within about 2 yards, so at least he's closer than the DBs were against the Vikings. You can't say this guy's open by 8 yards here. He's probably open by 2 yards. Now, he is still open, and he does end up making the catch on this play. Sidney Jones is in the area. He is close when the catch is made, but he still isn't close enough to make a play. And that is all the content I have from this game with regard to Sidney Jones getting targeted in coverage. There were probably a couple more plays that I didn't see, or just I didn't know that Sidney Jones was supposed to be assigned on that play, but that's all I have. So that's quite a bit of stuff to digest, and I'll say that Sidney Jones, for his first ever game as a Seahawk, effectively, did pretty well. He was closer to making plays than Trey Flowers was. But I made this video to really make sure that what we saw was significantly better. And I'm not convinced that it was. It seems like Sidney Jones is closer to the ball on these plays. It seems like he's closer to the receiver, closer to making a play. And that's good. That's significant. That matters. But if you really look at this, we're still seeing some of the big cushions to give up easy first downs. We're still seeing playing way off the receiver in situations where I don't think it makes a lot of sense to. We're seeing guys get open. And the plays that ended positively for the Seahawks in this reel were plays where the quarterback missed the throw or the pass got batted down. So I know I have the reputation right now as a Trey Flowers defender, and I'm not really defending Trey Flowers. He deserved to lose his job, and Sidney Jones looked better than Trey Flowers did against the Niners. But I'm not convinced that Sidney Jones is so much better than Flowers, he's going to take this defense to another level. I'm seeing some of the same stuff that I saw with Flowers to a lesser degree. Now, the good news is it's his first game. He can get better. He can definitely get better. He can definitely take the next step. He can definitely become a league average corner. That stuff is all on the table. I think that DJ Reed moving over to the right cornerback, where he is a better player, is going to help this secondary a lot because he's clearly more comfortable on that side. And if Sidney Jones can build on this performance, because it wasn't bad, I think we may have something. But the final summation of this video has to be that he's still got some work to do if he actually wants to start playing well. This is better, but I'm still seeing the same issues. Okay, let me know what you think down below, guys. More videos later. We're going to have to move quickly on this Seahawks content because there's not much time between now and the next game. But I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Go Hawks. Sidney Jones, what'd you think?